what to do with, when I say your wealth, okay, I understand, like right now if you're thinking like, what wealth? I get that too. But when it comes to when should you pass on or give some of what you have to the next generation, so to your children, let's say, or to your relatives while they're still living, or should you wait until you're dead and then they can sort it out?
Right.
Okay, I'm just being blunt here.
Yeah.
Because apparently when it comes to dividing families' wealth, there is a generational divide. So when it comes to Gen X and millennials, they're putting pressure on their parents to share while they're still alive. They're saying, and this is based on a Charles Schwab survey. Okay, of course, Charles Schwab. But so this is based on a Charles Schwab survey, and it's the younger generations are saying, why are you going to wait until you're 6 feet under?
Because they want them to give it up.
Yes.
They want them to give it up now.
Yeah. So, and when I asked you this question, you said, oh, heck no.
Okay, my dad always said to us, no one will be profiting from my death. And we sure didn't.
Same.
He was like, I'm going to spend it all. I mean, he left enough for my mom to be able to live without working. Like she's able, but they were already retired.
Yes.
So they have their home and she lives comfortably and everything as well. But their view was that every time they've seen someone get an inheritance, it tears families apart. He's like, they were like, look at the neighbor, look at this person, look at that person. He's like, we've never seen this go well. So he just felt like no one's going to profit from my death, and that's it. As for me, I do believe in the idea of trying, especially coming from a background where, you know, my dad was the first person to go to college, and we're just starting to accumulate. I want to be able to pass that on, but I want to do it in a wise way. And for me, I think that's going to look like if I can support them when they're older by like helping with education or maybe helping with a home. If I'm in that position, I would do that. But I'm fine with spending what I can to live a good life, and they can get what's left.
Left over. Okay.
What about you? Okay.
So I just want to first point out, and again, this is a very privileged position to even be talking about this. And we're talking about this survey.
But some people will get health insurance. I mean, not health insurance. Sorry, life insurance. So even if you don't make a lot of money, you could have a good life insurance plan.
And this would actually apply even if you don't have a lot of financial wealth. Some of the things that you don't think of before your death would even be these things that I treasure, like my jewelry, like my wedding ring, my favorite rug in the house. You don't think about things. And I will say that with my parents, my dad in particular, and I've shared a lot about him, he was a very fiercely proud German man. And I say that because he didn't believe in talking about death. He was a little bit squirrely about talking about money. And we never really broke down. I had to, as the executor in the family, and when I knew like time was coming, I had to basically almost force these conversations that were something that he just really didn't want to confront.
Right.
Yeah. And so I guess if you're hearing this right now and you are healthy, this is the best time to have those conversations and to think about those things for your next generation. Or if you don't have kids, whoever it is that you want to have, because you don't want it to be up to the courts to decide what happens. And you have talked about where it never goes well, right? And if you have it in writing, if you have it all down or you've got it figured out, it is a gift to the next generation.
Yeah. I would love to hear from people if it has gone well and what you all did, like what your process was. If you text us 888-973-5476. Because it would, to your point, it would seem if you sat everyone down and said, here's how it's going to go, so no one is surprised.
Yes.
Maybe that would help. But I've just seen it tear families apart where they're not
Oh, it
speaking to each
does.
other. And I remember having some relatives upset with me thinking that we had gotten some windfall when my dad died. And I was like, no, we didn't get anything. What are you talking about?
Exactly, because there are assumptions made.
There are assumptions.
Yes. And then there's oftentimes one member of the family that is left with the burden of dealing with some of the financial fallout. And sometimes it means debt that you're dealing with versus actually any kind of
Any
windfall.
kind of assets, right?
Yeah, but this Charles Schwab said, survey said that wealthy millennials and Gen Xers who answered the survey were more than twice as likely as boomers to agree with this statement. I want the next generation to enjoy my money while I'm still alive. So this certified financial planner they talked to said it's the 20 and 30-year-olds who need it the most. I would understand that in this day and age too, where maybe you are already established and you have enough, if you're fortunate enough, to have enough to live comfortably. But it's our next generation that may not ever see the day where they can actually afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
Unless you share some of the wealth. I know, which goes against the grain.
I hear my dad. I hear my dad's voice. Like, you need to, you weren't born with the silver spoon. Go get your own, right?
I didn't get any. So, and I think that's what a lot of boomers say in this survey. It's basically, no one handed anything to me. Why do you expect something different?
Right. It's a tough one because I will say just with my kids on smaller things, if I see someone really working hard and going above and beyond, I don't have a problem rewarding that. Because they won't get lazy off of it.
Yes.
That's what you don't want.
Okay, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. A lot of you are weighing in right now. So certainly I think that's encouraging that you're even had that thought, had that conversation.
Yeah, it was good. I'm glad you brought it up.